If you need Pokemon TCG codes, make sure you stop by Town Store. They have automatic email delivery of all the code cards, and they have a really nice variety of stock of all the latest Sun and Moon sets along with all the promo cards. And make sure you use Tablemon code when you're checking out to get an extra 5% off. Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new day of Road to TCG Worlds 2019. Thank you so much for joining me, I really appreciate it. And as you guys can see, we are going to be featuring today the Malamar Garchomp Giratina deck that, from my testing, it seems like this deck is a really powerful one. So far, what I've learned from the new format is that tag teams are the kings of the format. There's very few, if any, non-GX decks that can actually compete right now, and Pigrom with all the support it has, and also Malamar with their reliability of Psychic Recharge are the top two decks in my opinion. So that's the way the format is shaping so far. I believe we do have Garchomp Giratina, really powerful tag team with its humongous 270 HP, and with the first attack, Linear Snipe, dealing 40 damage to any Pokemon you want in play. You can set up very nicely for your second attack. Linear attack, sorry, not Linear Snipe. You can set yourself up to get the bonus damage from Calamitous Slash, which deals 160 damage, and if your opponent's active Pokemon already has any damage counters on it whatsoever, then this attack does 80 more damage. Now, obviously, Distortion Door from Giratina also works very nicely with Calamitous Slash, and so do the spell tags, which you can see that we have quite a few of them in the list. But overall, it's a really powerful card. Dealing 240 damage with Calamitous Slash for 3 energies is very cost effective. It's not quite enough to get the 1-hit KOs on the 270 and 260 HP tag teams, but that is where Giratina's Distortion Door and the spell tags do come into play. Now we also have GG and GX, which allows us to discard one of our opponent's Pokemon and all cards attached to it, which is pretty cool. And if this Pokemon has at least 3 extra fighting energy attached to it, you discard 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. Now, realistically, we won't be attaching those extra energy at all to the Garchomp Giratina because we don't run enough fighting energies to pull that off, and it would require 4 essentially manual attachments, so that's not going to happen. But we do have the possibility to take down something with Calamitous Slash, and whilst our opponent is trying to recover off of that, we can just GG and GX and discard that Pokemon. Now, as another attacker, we also have the Espeon and Deoxys tag team as well, which is a really nice card. So far, I thought like all the Malamar decks that didn't play Ultra Necrozma would be at a big disadvantage in the mirror match, but actually Espeon Deoxys GX makes up for that a little bit, because at the 260 HP, it's much harder to take down than the measly 190 from Ultra Necrozma. It does have the attack Psychic Club, which deals 10 damage plus 30 more for each of your bench Psychic Pokemon. So if you have full bench of Psychics, you're dealing 160 for 3, which is just as good as Calamitous Slash before the bonus. But we also have Cross Division GX, where we get to put 10 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. And if this Pokemon has at least 3 extra energy attached to it, then you get to place 20 damage counters. So overall in a mirror match, there might be situations where you can afford to use the plus attack of Cross Division, but usually 10 damage counters between the Distortion Door ability should be enough to close out a game in many situations. Between Distortion Door and spell tags, your opponent's bench should be heavily damaged, right? And also maybe some Giratina attacks that your opponent puts on the bench, so usually that would be wrong. But between Distortion Door and enough spell tags, Cross Division GX might be a good way to close out any game, really. Especially since this deck does not run custom catchers. placing 10 damage counters, 10 targeted damage counters is definitely much better than placing 6 damage counters everywhere from Ultra Grozma, and that's also binded to the price count total of both players, whereas Cross Division GX is not binded by that. Now, of course, we have our non-GX attacker Giratina, which has the self-sustaining ability. Distortion Door keeps coming back from the bench even after it gets KO'd, from the discard pile, sorry, to the bench after it gets KO'd, so that's really, really useful. And then we have our 4 Jirachi. It is the Pokemon that we want to start with. We'd rather lose that on turn 1 than an Inkay. That is why I am running 4. The high count also helps in making Pokemon communication more effective, which is always good. And then we have the Mew with the Benchfire ability to make sure that we can run over Pikarom if we need to. Now we have 4 Lily, 4 Cynthia, and 3 Erika's Hospitality for supporters. The 3 Erikas could easily be Hapu, could easily be Sightseer, could easily be Tate and Liza. So there are other options to run over Erikas. I do like the Erikas because it's especially strong in mirror matches, but against some of the tag team decks such as Charizard, it's actually quite weak. Yeah, then we have 4 Mysterious Treasure and 4 Communication to maximize consistency. We also have 4 Spell Tags because we really want those damage counters down, not only to complete the damage for the Garchomp Giratina, but we also want them for Espeon and Deoxys, which is really, really useful. And then we have 3 switches, 2 escape boards, 2 reset stamps to make sure that we have a way to target our opponent's hand and try to make them with healing cards or anything else they might need if they get too far ahead, or especially in the late game, not necessarily if they're ahead, but just as a tool to limit them in the late game. And then we have triple Viridian Forest to search for the energy, the right energy for the right moment, and we have 6 Psychics and 3 Fighting. I would love perhaps an extra Psychic to increase consistency a little bit. Perhaps 1 Erikas could be taken out for a Psychic. 10 supporters should usually do the trick, especially since we have Jirachi. 1 Detonate GX could also be an option to add over one of the Jirachis, just to have that extra dig, you know, with the ability. But the bench space of this deck is definitely always at a premium, so you won't always have the space to be able to play that down. But yeah, overall this deck is performing very strongly in my testing. It's like all the Malamar decks seem to flow pretty nicely. Yeah, and I've tried Acrobikes, I've tried Order Pads as well. I definitely despise Order Pad because it is a flip and it doesn't find you a supporter. But overall, Acrobikes or just extra supporter counts seem to be the things that give the deck the most consistency and the most search. And the most or the best ability to be able to find the cards you need at the right time, along with Jirachi. Yeah, for me, Jirachi is probably one of the best, if not the best card available to make sure that your deck runs as smoothly as you would like it to. So, yeah, that will be all for today's video, guys. I'm sure you have tried Malamar. I don't need to explain to you how Psychic Recharge allows you to power up all your attackers. It's really nice that Garchomp Giratina and Espeon Deoxys do not discard energy, which means you don't have to have a bunch of Malamars ready every single time, right? Whereas you can just consistently keep attacking and pressuring with Garchomp Giratina GX, especially with the linear attack. That can also set up some pretty nice numbers, especially against the 270 HP tag teams. And yeah, if you need, or if you're looking for code cards from the latest set, don't forget to check out Potown Store. They will be having Unified Minds code cards available for immediate email delivery. Yeah, so you won't have to wait for the code cards to be delivered and then scan them yourself. You can just copy paste from the emails you get sent from Potown Store, and you can use code Tablemon to get 5% off your final purchase. Yeah. And of course, it means you get to support the channel in a little way. So yeah, guys, that will be all for today. Don't forget to leave a like. Really appreciate the support. And I'll catch you guys on our next post-rotation deck profile. Bye-bye.